It's another day, the sun is shining. Got to know what's going on around you. Wake up, it's the time to motivate your mind. Come with me, let's make this moment brighter. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Come on and wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Hey.
Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise on this marvelous Monday. I'm Anastasia Palacios and I'm so happy to be back with you.
Good morning. I am Philip Simon II. Happy Monday to you.
To all of you, we hope that you had a wonderful weekend. Hope that you enjoy yours.
I did. It was nice. It was cool. I loved that weather on Saturday morning. And luckily for thousands of people, it kind of cleared up in the evening.
It certainly did.
Yeah.
Certainly did. Was in Jamaica on Saturday morning. Back here by Saturday night to enjoy a bit of Jamaican culture in the Bahamas through the Bushu bands and concert. And really a good past week for me being away at the leadership dialogue. You have been before.
Yeah. How did it go?
It was eye-opening and really just a blessing to be there, to learn, to see what's going to happen. The studies are being done about the future and what that kind of looks like, talking about sustainability for the green economy, which we know well, but the blue economy, which is our oceans, and very relevant to us in the Bahamas with so much coastlines. And then just meeting people from different spaces, different walks of life, and understanding that, and then really getting a really excellent appreciation for the island of Jamaica itself. Really a proud, very Afrocentric nation that has done a lot. And so grateful to have some of my perspectives just broadened by being in that space.
No, that's excellent. Jamaica was also here this weekend, like you said. The concert.
Yeah,
the
man.
concert was actually nice. You know, first time I've kind of. It's been decades, but it was actually good. It was good.
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice. I went out a bit later because I saw the agenda was quite long, and I knew that I would not be interested in all of that. So I went closer to a very late hour that I'm normally fast asleep.
Right.
But to see Buju Banton, who you know, my father would have taught me his lyrics and those of Bob Marley a really long time ago, and I think we kind of misconstrue people based on a perceived appearance that we may not understand, and so. Always, anything positive is going to have people saying negative things about it, but really having him end his concert with the Lord's Prayer, the 23rd Psalm, was quite beautiful.
He also had messages throughout
the whole thing.
The entire thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, when he said, "Listen, man, Bahamian boys, I'm watching you, man. Put down your toys."
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, it really speaks to not only his awareness of what's going on in our country, but maybe the fact that he's at a different level of consciousness in his own life. You know, after spending some time. I wouldn't say in isolation, but certainly away from mainstream.
Yeah, and even just his consciousness about encouraging Black and brown people to be appreciative of their skin color and to really just, you know, be beautiful in who you are. I thought.
I don't quite get that either.
Yeah, but no, it really was a good time. So congratulations to all those involved with putting it together. And we're looking forward to an excellent show, a great week ahead, and we're going to let you know what's coming up for you now.
Yeah, it's April 1st.
It is.
I can't believe it. I mean, the first quarter is
done.
gone. I mean, I can't. January, February, March. Where'd it go?
I feel like time is just flying. I was having a conversation with Carlos last night, and I was saying, yeah, man, this was a while back. This was like 2013, and it's like, how was it that 2013 was so long ago? But it's because the quarters just fly by, and before you know it, it's another year.
Yeah, well, wait till those years continue to roll on. I'm still trying to get over the fact that I am, anyway, 3 years away. Listen, Gawain Bo is here to talk about the first quarter relative to the economy. And we'll also be finding out about the World Prayer Tower launching in the Bahamas. It's interesting.
Very
interesting. We've got a rabbi on the show here this morning.
Yeah.
And of course, we'll find out more about what WTO really means for the Bahamas going forward. We're still pushing the agenda. And so we'll see what happens by the end of this year, which is really when we intend to kind of settle our offering.
Yeah, so looking forward to hearing more about that. You know, that's always a conversation that I find very interesting. In addition to that, we've got Cash and Go in the house. I know whenever Cash and Go is here, it's time for another promotion. So let's stay tuned to find out. I hope I get something, man. You know, y'all know I take Z. So looking forward to that segment. Dr. Thomas is also here. We're talking about something very serious. We've had him on before, but we really might be in the midst of an immunization crisis. And so this is going to be a very important conversation.
Yeah,
that you're going to help
absolutely.
with
I mean, absolutely. I mean, it's just amazing that we're still talking about some of these diseases after they would have, literally almost been extinct.
Yeah.
It's just blown me away.
It just shows you the power of, one very influential person and their opinion, and the way that social media can kind of cause people to misread and mismanage information. So going to be an interesting conversation. All of them will be, so we hope that you will stay tuned for it. Before we get to any of that, we can't start our day without the G-Man himself.
Well, let me tell you, in your absence, Gandhi was just like...
Well, you know how Gandhi goes. Morning, Gandhi. I'm not surprised. But here he is with our first look at weather, Godfrey Burnside.
Weather at sunrise, brought to you by Bahamas First. First in insurance, today, tomorrow.
Thank you, Star. Good morning, Bahamas. In your surface chart, you see a frontal boundary stalled across the northern Florida area, triggering off some showers and thunderstorms. That should eventually move southeastwards, probably stall in the vicinity of Grand Bahama, Abaco, and Bimini sometime late Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. It'll weaken significantly before it reaches there, so we can expect a couple of showers, particularly over the northwest Bahamas. In your weather today, you're looking at mostly sunny and warm, slight chance of passing showers, high temperature 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Tonight, a few patchy clouds around the mild side, low temperature going down to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. And some recent highs and lows across the Caribbean, Barbados 82 and 75. In Jamaica, 79, 68. In Trinidad, 88 and 75. And the Turks and Caicos Islands, 82 and 70. Across North America, Atlanta, 57 and 44. In Raleigh, 55 and 39. In Miami, 81 and 69. Dallas, Texas, 64 and 45. And Toronto, Canada, 37 and 20. Extend a look. That weak frontal boundary moves across the northwest Bahamas should stall and weaken, so you can expect a mix of sun and clouds on Tuesday, Wednesday into Thursday. A couple of showers, particularly with the northwest and parts of central Bahamas. Low temperature daytime will be in the low 80s, at nighttime in the upper 60s. That puts her up on your first look at weather at sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Star.
Thank you so much, Godfrey. The World Prayer Towers movement is building a worldwide infrastructure of prayer with 12 towers and 72 global prayer centers established around the world. They are launching in the Bahamas today. And here to tell us more, we're very happy to welcome the Rabbi Daniel Jershuan Vargas. He's the president of the Association of Messianic Synagogues and Congregations and executive director of the World Prayer Towers, Dr. Kevin King, who's the global director for the Kingdom Government Movement. We're also joined by Apostle Benjamin Smith and Apostle Anna Edwards, who are both Caribbean coordinators. Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning.
A pleasure to have all of you with us and to be having this conversation about something that I find very interesting, which is the idea of a collaboration between different religious groups, all in the power of prayer, which is very powerful. So we're going to find out this morning, starting out with what is a prayer tower? What does that mean specifically?
Well, thank you so much. It's a blessing to be here with you today and here in the Bahamas. And we've been going around the world. This is actually our 17th nation that we're building and raising prayer towers around the world. And just to briefly let you know that these prayer towers are, some of them are actually buildings that are high, and that's why they're called towers, because we initially started them as towers of buildings that are tall. In nations where there's no tall buildings, and they're called World Prayer Centers, but they function actually the same identical way that prayer tower does function.
Okay, all right. And you talked about the fact that these are all over the world. Are there any others in the Caribbean that we might be aware of?
Yes, absolutely. We have one, of course, with Apostle Anna in Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're really blessed because she's a terrific director there. And in Haiti, we are in Haiti already.
Okay.
So we're blessed and here in the Bahamas.
All right.
And we just came back also from St. Martin.
Okay.
And we launched one there a few days ago, and it was terrific.
All right. Anna, how has the prayer tower been working in Trinidad? What are the the types of people that you have coming in? How has it been working? Like, what is it? How does it actually work? The prayer tower concept.
It's absolutely tremendous in Trinidad and Tobago. You know, the World Prayer Towers is a place of prayer for all people. It's a place where every creed and race can find an equal place. And so people from every walk of life come together to pray. We also host regional prayers, national days of prayers, mayor prayers, city prayer, community prayer. It's a place where anybody can come and unite in prayer and call on Adonai, and he will hear and answer, because prayer changes things.
Certainly.
And prayer brings transformation.
Fantastic. So we're looking forward to the launch here in the Bahamas tonight, gentlemen. What can we expect? What will happen to officially launch the prayer tower in the Bahamas? Rabbi?
Well, of course, Dr. King, Kevin King is the one that's helping us in coordinating this. This evening, I think this will be a tremendous launch. We have great expectations of what this prayer tower is going to do here. And in the ceremonial part of it, we will be actually anointing and dedicating the prayer tower here with Director Dr. Kevin King that will actually help us kick it off and form a board of directors. There'll be a national board here that will be involved in and out of every aspect of life here to transform and change all of the Bahamas and get the Bahamas to turn back to God in prayer.
Okay, all right. And what time do you get started? Is it an open invitation to everyone?
Yes, it's open to everyone at 7:30 p.m. at Bethany Assembly, Abundant Life.
Okay. So 7:30 p.m. Bethany Assembly, Abundant Life. And is that where the actual center itself will be located?
Not necessarily, but he can.
I am so excited about the season because, you know, when people unite in prayer, there's a unity. There is a collaboration between heaven and earth.
Right.
And the prayer center, as it relates to Nassau, as it relates to the Bahamas, it's not necessarily, so to speak, a tower itself.
Okay.
But it's the groups of people that come together with a corporate vision to unite and to pray. You know, where the Bible says, I call it the constitution of God's kingdom. You know, if my people, which are called by my name, would humble themselves and pray. You know, amazingly, he didn't give any religious background.
Right.
He didn't say what type of people.
No.
He just said my people,
Right.
which speaks of God's creation coming together, his children. And so when we come together, he said, if my people, which are called by my name, humble themselves and pray, seek my face, turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven, I will forgive their sins, and I will heal their land.
Right.
So there's a group of pastors, leaders, all and sundry really, that gather together in one place to pray, to seek the face of God. I believe the healing of any nation is connected to prayer. It's connected to a people that unite in prayer.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And so tonight we can get together in that prayer at 7:30 at Bethany.
At Bethany.
At Bethany.
That
And
is
there's no need
correct.
to RSVP. We can just show up if we want to
Just
pray.
show
and
up, yes.
Fantastic. I'm hoping for some amazing things to come from this. And Rabbi, I'm going to end with you here. You know, what has inspired this work of bringing together people that just call on God's name, as Pastor said? What is moving you to just unite us across these religious divides?
Well, I think that it's the timing. We call it a time that God would do finally something to unite his people, his body, and not only Christians and Messianic Jews, but he wants everyone, that we are all his children. And it's only through prayer and study of God's word that we're going to be able to bring the unity. I think governments and nations have endeavored, even the United Nations, to bring unity, and it has not really been accomplished.
Yeah.
So through prayer, and the Lord says that if you call upon my name, that's the key right there. And we really have not unity because we have not really prayed and asked for unity. Even the Lord himself said, praying to the Father, he wanted us all to be one, even as he is one with the Father.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, listen, I'm excited. I think anytime we get together, right, in a collective, great things can happen. And we've seen that. And then now we add that to the power of prayer, and we know that amazing things will happen. So we invite you again to join this group, 7:30 p.m. tonight if you're in New Providence at the Bethany Church. That's Abundant Life Road. Abundant Life Road, and be a part of a center that's going to just transform lives and spaces. And final word to me?
One thing I'd also say is that we, our unity, a lot of times the Bahamas Convention Center is where we are located.
Okay.
The Embassy International. Every Tuesday night we are there for prayer.
Okay.
The nation comes together, every strata you could think about, and we're there to pray.
Okay.
We're there to hear from God, but we're there to pray.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's another extended invitation for you. If you can't make it tonight, obviously, any Tuesday night, Bahamas Convention Center. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us this morning. Certainly bringing that spirit into the atmosphere here. Really grateful for that. And looking forward to the healing of a nation and ultimately the world as we continue on this work. Thanks again.
Thank you.
You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
Good afternoon. First response. How can I help you?
I've been in an accident on West Bay Street. Can you send someone to help?
Yes, ma'am. A first response team will be there in 15 minutes. Are you hurt?
No, I'm fine, but a bit upset.
We're glad you're not hurt. Please, try to relax. Our team will take care of everything as soon as they arrive.
First Response provides immediate on-site service and support from the scene of an accident through the claims and repair process. And it's free to all Bahamas First insured drivers in New Providence every day for any type of accident. If you drive and want first response on your side, call 321st or visit bahamasfirst.com for the name of an authorized Bahamas First agent. First response can't prevent an accident from happening,
but it can certainly ease your mind when it happens.
Wait, that's Omar Little from The Wire. You think everyone is Omar from The Wire?
Wow, it's really nice to meet a fan.
It's like he's right here. I telling you he's being all type shows and stuff?
And you know, Rev Go Play plays a lot of good movies and TV shows.
Excuse me, can't you see we're watching something else? Rude.
Settle all your pop culture disputes with Rev Go Play. Watch, record, and stream all your favorite shows wherever you are. Free for all Rev TV subscribers. Rev, you and us together.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. Of course, we mentioned January, February, and March 2019 is behind us. We are now into the second quarter. April 1st is today. Very pleased to be joined again on Bahamas at Sunrise by the chairman of the Clearing Banks Association and the Chartered Accounts Association, Mr. President. Go.
What's happening, Phil? All is well?
Yeah, man. Welcome back. I don't know. I didn't see you at Bourgeois. I don't know if you were there.
Yeah, standing at the back.
Standing at the back, eh? But listen, it's amazing. I mean, you know, the first quarter's gone. There is a buzz in the economy, but give us your assessment on, you know, the first quarter of this year and whether or not what we're hearing, we don't want to make it sound like a marketing economy, but is it for real?
Well, I think, you know, the first thing is it's been amazing at how quickly the first quarter has gone by.
Yeah.
And there have been a number of indicators that we should pay attention to. I believe we've seen a continued trend in terms of upward movement in tourism numbers, and particularly stopover visitors, which is crucial in terms of economic development and growth where we're heavily dependent on it. We've started to see some momentum as it relates to entrepreneurship. The Small Business Development Center is now taking hold. We see a number of initiatives in terms of helping to finance them, which is always a challenge for small businesses. And we start to see some projects that are private developments that government has been approving with the announcements. I think the question is really sustainability and when all of this is going to start to take hold. We've had a long, protracted period of what I'm going to say either economic decline or sort of flatlining.
Right.
And now the upward trajectory is not to get too exuberant and actually hurt it because we're believing that things are doing so well. It is how do we continue to, I'm going to say, support it and encourage it. And I think that's going to be important because we've had what I'm going to say a number of false starts before. And so, and not just us, the world over. You know, they're talking about the U.S. that has, in most economists' mind, been booming for the last couple of years, but they're thinking about recession in the next coming 12 to 18 months. So we have to be tempered, and I think that's the most important one now is the good signs. Let's take them for what they are, but let's not be over-exuberant.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, I mean, how much of this is really due, you know, this positive talk and probably these new projects is due to what's happening, in, particularly in the American economy. The global economy seems relatively, you know, a little bit on the uptick. But as relates to us, and particularly the American economy, going forward, you started to talk about it, how should we position ourselves to take advantage of what's happening now?
We have to actually move to a strategic plan for the country. And persons know I've been preaching the National Development Plan since its inception. And I still believe that without that, we are actually just a rudderless ship, meaning that we're not quite sure what we're going to do. We're tacking whenever the wind changes, and we should be charting a course. And so if we get thrown off a little bit, that's fine, but we know where we're going. So going left and right, but still going in the same direction is positive. And that, to me, is most important because what you do see is a number of things appear to be disjointed, meaning that we appear to have objectives, but yet our actions are not commensurate or supportive of it. And it may not be the reality. It may simply be that we are not seeing the full picture. And that's what you have to start giving to people. Because in this day and age with information technology, persons Google immediately, persons search. And if you're not getting the full message out, not a public relations message, the actual plan, the milestones, what we are seeking to achieve so that people can measure it and actually be confident that you're moving in the right direction, you will always get the negative backlash.
Yeah. I'm just going to read this here. You know, the IDB quarterly report bulletin came out, and one of the things they said is a lack of competition in the Bahamian commercial banking industry has created barriers to accessing financial services in this nation. Of course, your other hat as chairman of the Clearing Banks Association. Do you agree with this assessment?
I think it's overly simplistic, and that's what my response to it was, that when you think about a population of 400,000, there's going to be, I'm going to say, a finite business model that is going to exist, or reason for business. And so when you think about the number of banks that we have relative to the population size, we're probably overbanked in terms of what other communities and economies would look at. But I think more importantly is what they spoke about in terms of competitiveness and pricing. And I think that one, persons see loan rates and deposit rates and immediately believe that there's no competition, but we're not looking at the fundamentals. And that's why I say National Development Plan. We have to ready our people to be what I'm going to say the charters of their own course, because right now they are left to take what is given to them. And I, even as a banking institution, would say I welcome the customer that is financially sound, educated in financial literacy, and able to come in and tell me what it is that I should be offering. And if I don't meet their demands, they will pick up and go, because that then means that we have a vibrant commercial sector.
Yeah, and it's not all, you know, within the realm of just one sector. It all
has to work collectively.
So the Governor's Central Bank is, you know, projected a 2% growth over the next year, and 2 possibly, but the IMF is saying something else. And of course, what they project is important.
Well, to be honest, that's one of the areas that we have to correct. We should not be in a situation where we're actually disagreeing with international agencies on our own statistics. We have to be able to demonstrate that we are able to craft our own statistics. When I say craft, not make them up. I mean, I'm talking about capture it and actually project accurately so that they're relying upon it. It is embarrassing as a professional to say that I'm watching an outsider tell me that what I'm projecting is not going to take hold, right? And so I have to build my credibility to that point. We have the situation with the budget, where the Deputy Prime Minister has indicated we will not meet the budget targets, but they're hoping that it will be closer to the target than it was originally thought. But the IMF and others are saying we won't. And we have to get to a point where we're not debating what I'm going to say facts, because numbers are numbers. They shouldn't change. We should be debating whether or not our policies are the appropriate ones, whether or not our actual initiatives are matching with the policies, and whether our program sort of spending initiative is taking hold, where we're not sort of throwing money at what I'm going to say an idea. We've crafted a program in all of the ministries and departments, and we're spending money towards it so that we can measure it and determine if we're spending money wisely.
But there's always such a negative conversation when you say, well, you're not going to meet the budget. I mean, but is that entirely a bad thing? I mean, based on how the budget's crafted, would we over-aggressive in our targets? I mean,
to be honest, what I say is we don't do enough in terms of saying the assumptions and estimates that go into the budget. We need to do a proper debrief, and that's what the Fiscal Responsibility Council is about, which is being initiated in the summer months. To sit back and say, well, are we sort of realistic in terms of what we are assuming and estimating? Are we realistic in the judgments that are being made, so that when we look at it, we get more accurate each time? Every company will say that you miss budgets, but it's more important as to why you missed them. Don't repeat it, and actually do something more progressive the next time around.
Listen, Garland,
always
so
a pleasure, man.
Joined us early here, though.
Yeah, but you know, that's one there. It's not an easy road.
It's not an easy Way to go. We've been with Garland Bowe, Chairman of the Clearing Banks Association, and Biker. We'll be right back.
I always wanted to come back to the College of Bahamas. I wanted to be a faculty. When the opportunity came for me to be Vice President of Operations, I said, well, let me try that first. It makes me proud because I was here before. I feel as if now I'm sort of like a beacon for those students who are here to say, hey, listen, I can actually be a Vice President. I can actually be one of the big leaders at the university. I'm Ronnie Stevenson, and this is my UB.
Apply today at www.ub.edu.bs.
Allied Supply has everything you need under one roof. Our bath and plumbing department has urinals, toilets, basins, pumps, heaters, tanks, and all the parts and accessories you need. Check out our electrical department for pipes, roughing parts, and so much more. Visit our lumber section for plywood, roofing materials, rocks, sand, and cement. We also carry garden supplies, doors and locks, power tools, a variety of pipes, and so much more. Pipe cutting and threading services are available. Allied Supply, quality is our first consideration.
So who really own an Nassau container port?
Boss, that's easy. The government.
I do.
I do. Thank you. I do.
I do. And one day, he will too.
I do. Knock knock.
Here at the Nassau Container Port, we've diversified our ownership to give hardworking Bahamians a piece of the economic pie. And we'll continue to grow so that we can give you a consistent return on your investment. That's our promise.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on Bahamas at Sunrise. We're back now with Cash and Go that welcome you to come back home to the lowest prices in town, offering money transfers at phenomenal rates. And here to tell us more, we're always happy to have these two amazing representatives from Cash and Go. Always a good time to have them with us. We've got Sid Linefo-Quay, she's the supervisor of Cash and Go, and Douglas Roll, he's the business development coordinator. Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning, good morning. Thanks for having us.
A pleasure to have you guys with us. You worked so hard at the concert this past weekend that I'm surprised that you're up this early.
Yes, we're definitely doing it. Cash and Go is on the move.
Vitamins. Yeah, for sure. You guys did a great job over the weekend, and now we've got this awesome promotion coming up for Cash and Go. Tell me what the latest promotion is all about.
All right, our latest promotion, the one we're running right now, is lowest prices in town. This is where we use RIA, one of our services. We transfer money worldwide, starting for as low as $4. So you can send worldwide for as low as $4. And in country, it's low as $2.80 for up to $1,000. So we're really pushing our lowest price in town. Come back home, Cash and Go.
No, I mean, that's a really good rate. Like when I think about what they charge you just to do regular transactions at a regular institution.
Precisely.
In the country, $2.80 is like really good.
Really competitive. I think that's on par with the banks. And if anybody knows about any bank, you know how those lines are, how long they... It's a real way to Cash and Go. We're fast and convenient. We're really trying to cater to the market, and that's one of the things we want to capitalize on.
So this $4 price internationally, right? Because I'm thinking that's a big deal as well, especially if you've got family in the Philippines or in...
And if you have persons off to school, you have children who are off to school, you would want to get funds to them, spending cash, or if they're living arrangements. So it would be, you wouldn't want to spend so much just to send to them, especially when things are already tough now. So I think $4 for us has been a way to just target persons like those who are challenged and also who are looking.
Tough economical times,
That is true.
Is it available in every country, or are there certain countries that this the $4
so
is related
the
to?
prices start at $4, and one of the ones we do that with our biggest diasporas. That's the Creole, the Jamaican, and the Philippine market. It start at $4, and for the U.S. it's a bit more, but it's really low. It's definitely the lowest in town, regardless of money transfer service you use. We want you to come home to RIA, come home to Cash and Go, because that's the lowest price, bottom line.
Okay. I mean, you've heard it there, Bob,
Right.
right? It don't matter where you go in. At
Don't
the end of the
matter.
day, Cash
It's the
and Go is
lowest.
the lowest
It's the
price in
lowest,
town.
regardless of where
Okay,
you
all
go,
right. So is there a process that's related to sending money, though? I mean, are certain documents required?
There is a process. So if you're coming in to send money, we do have a form, a RIA money transfer form to fill out. And once you fill that out, you would need your government-issued ID, which is the passport. But if you don't have the passport, you can use your voter's card and driver's license, which is mainly for proof of address. And so those are the two documents that we use when you're sending money.
Okay, and so you don't have to have like 4, because I know sometimes you have to go to these
No,
institutions, you have to carry
don't.
this, you have to carry that.
That's a one-time thing. So after you bring it in the first time, we'll store it for you. Just come back with your driver's license any other time.
And you'll be good to go.
Yep, good
All
to go.
right, sounds like a plan. And are there other services offered by Cash and Go? Y'all know y'all have my favorite
Definitely.
commercial.
Right.
So I just want to know if y'all selling chicken yet.
So yes, we offer a full set of services for persons who don't know what that is. We offer utility payment services. That's for your BPL, your water and sewage, your cable Bahamas, your Grand Bahama Power, Grand Bahama Utility. We do all of these at no cost to you. So just come in and pay. We do airline ticket service. That's Bahamas Air, Western Air, and Sky Bahamas. Yet again, no cost to you. We do top up. That's both Alive, BTC, and international. No cost to you. We collect premiums for BAF and also CLECO. No cost to you. All right, so just come in and use any one of our services. One of the services we're really trying to push and kick off this go around is our ticketing logistics. We did the Buju Banton concert over the weekend. I don't know if anybody was there, but this is the services we really want to push. So if you have any event going on and you want us to provide services for, we're open to it. We do collection services. Say you are somebody who does anything, any kind of business, and you need someplace for collections, we're willing to do it for you. We're the best in town. We have 25 locations country-wide, with 10 being here in Nassau. We span from Freeport all the way down to San Salvador, Ragged Island, in fact. So we're really doing it. We're really going far. We're trying to get this countrywide canvas. So come on to Cash and Go. Come back home. You may have went somewhere before, but come back home. This is where it's at. We do all of our services at no cost to you, and where there is a cost with money transfer service, it's the lowest price in town.
Man, listen, this is why this man is in this job, right? Like he just have a job.
Awesome.
But it's so true. Like a friend of mine actually had like a conference, and the only places people could buy tickets was Cash and Go. And so I think sometimes people think, oh, it has to be like the 10,000 crowd at Buju, but no, her event was about 500, 600 people. Cash and Go still provided the services for her.
Regardless of size, we here for the community. If it's one person, we'll work it out. We'll do it. You know, so we're open to everybody. You want to start something, you want to do something, come to Cash and Go. We're willing to work with everybody.
And before we go, Sidley, you guys talked to me about going into some of the other islands, and then we call Ragged Island just now. And I always have to shout out my family islands, because sometimes it's a bit more of a challenge for them to get services provided. Where are some of the new locations you guys have out there in the family islands?
Okay, so we have San Sal, which you just said.
So San Salvador is one of the newest one is Cat Island. But we go from, let's see if I can go. We got Freeport, we got Abaco, we got Cat Island, Long Island, South Andros, North Andros, Ragged Island, Bimini, Harbor Island, Spanish Wells. So I don't know what number I'm on, but we're really doing, right?
Stick a pin in it.
And we literally got 10 in Nassau, all in convenience spot. We're expanding. Like I said, we want to get places like Rumkey and Berry Island. So we're going to be there in a minute. Stay tuned. We're really trying to expand for persons who are trying to send to Nassau, who just trying to have a convenient thing going on. So just come on to Cash and Go.
I mean, really, you can't be convenient, but I think about everything you offer, from bill pay to ticketing, and then, of course, with this very low money transfer, $2.80 if you're transferring in-country, starting as low as $4, Jamaica, Philippines, and our big regions, and Haiti included. So really excellent service.
Yes, we're really trying to really focus on the money transfer, and we don't want to exclude MoneyGram. It's another service, money transfer service, so you're not familiar with RIA so much. You can also go to MoneyGram with some competitive prices as well. With RIA, we want to capitalize that we have many options to transfer the money. What I'm saying is that you can transfer directly to bank accounts in specific countries. You can also do the home delivery option, which is really booming there and over in the Dominican Republic. So if we have any persons from our Dominican Republic expats from there, come on to Cash and Go. You send your money and they literally deliver it
to your door.
You can't be that, man. You can't be that.
Thank you guys so much for joining us this morning on Bahamas at Sunrise. Wishing you all the best with the latest promotion, lowest prices in town, and of course we can follow Cash and Go online.
Yes, social media, Instagram, Facebook. Call us
all the above. They are for you. They are for you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
My name is Regilio Bethel. My position on board Equinox is mate, relief captain. I must say that during our travels and journeys throughout the Exuma Keys, we've had a few dark or dead spots. Basically, there was no service. They were just dark spots. We would basically be dead ship out in the cold without any communication. And it's been like that for years, and we've gotten used to it. But Life has now provided us with a service which we can stay communicated during our entire voyages. And I've been waiting for Life to bring their service up to more coverage throughout the Bahamas, which they've done in an amazing amount of time. So yeah, I would encourage them all to get that service. It's an awesome service, no interruptions, and it's awesome.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. We're at the halfway point on this marvelous Monday, and I've just got a birthday shout out here, so I wanted you guys to excuse me for looking at my cell phone. But this is for Gandhi, so I have to do it for her. We're wishing a very happy birthday to Martha Munker. For Gandhi on her behalf. Happy birthday from all of us here at Bahamas at Sunrise, Ms. Munker. And Gandhi thought she could get away with it, but we're also wishing Gandhi a very special happy birthday.
Trust me, Gandhi covered that for herself.
Oh, she covered it for herself. Okay. Well, I wasn't here. I was in Jamaica. I didn't get to tune in. So Gandhi, from me, and everybody here at Bahamas at Sunrise, you know how much we love you, how much we appreciate you. And so a very happy birthday to you. She celebrates that birthday tomorrow.
And when we find out the number, we'll let you know. We will let you know. Good show so far. Really good having this conversation with Gandhi. I missed your conversation with the Rabbi and Dr. King with prayer. But in terms of the economy, you know, looks good. I mean, it seems that we're tilting just a little bit. Hopefully, it's just not all marketing, like they say. You know, politicians and economists, you know, may.
Yeah.
But
I think it's good. I think it's good. And I just want us to continue to just have a forward vision. You know, I was in Jamaica last week, and suddenly their economy is none of the best. We all know that, right? But when I look at their future planning and what they're doing and what they're investing in and the way they've organized their ministries, their departments, and the focuses that people have, you know, everybody at every level that I met in each of those positions in the government agencies had PhDs. Like, you know, it's just...
and that's never been the issue. I mean, it's never been the issue in Jamaica or throughout, you know, several of our Caribbean counterparts.
We know what it is.
Exactly.
We know exactly
and it's planning, and it's not going to be instant. And I think that's the challenge. We really try to pursue this instant success, and we are, you know, almost expecting, you know, this turnaround, immediate turnaround. But
no, so that's why I'm happy that we're moving up, and I just hope that our leaders will continue to just have forward vision and are willing to make tough decisions and sacrifices.
And vision. Leaders and vision, yeah.
Yeah. We've got more to come in the second half.
Yeah. Yes, I'm sorry. Dr. Carlos Thomas is here, and we're going to continue that conversation on immunization. Such a critical one. You know, it's rising, but still critical. And of course, WTO.
Yeah, WTO comes up as well.
I mean, you see what's happening over in England and Brexit, and I mean, this is impactful.
Yeah.
I mean, and we have to, even though we're on this side of the world, we continuously have to plan towards what's going to be absolutely.
Yeah, there's a whole lot coming, so we really have to strategize. But more on that another time. Right now, we're going to take a second look at weather with Godfrey Burnside.
Weather at Sunrise, brought to you by Bahamas First. First in insurance, today, tomorrow.
Thank you, Stan. Good morning, Bahamas. Just a second look at weather. Sunrise surface chart shows that we do have that stationary frontal boundary across the northern Florida area. That's going to shift towards the southeast and move into the extreme northwest Bahamas sometime late Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. It's expected to stall and also dissipate over the next 36 hours. In your marine forecast today, those winds variable at 10 knots or less, seas less than 3 feet. Then on Tuesday, you have that frontal boundary, those winds south to southwest at 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 4 feet in northwest and central Bahamas, continuing variable at 10 knots or less, seas less than 3 feet over the southeastern islands. Then on Wednesday, that northerly winds with 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 4 feet at first, but those winds will start increasing 15 to 20 knots, seas building 4 to 6 feet by afternoon over the northwest and central Bahamas, continuing variable at 10 knots or less, seas less than 3 feet over the southeastern islands. Your tides, you can expect a low tide at 11:34 this morning, next high tide at 5:32 this evening, low again tonight at 11:41. Sunset 7:24 this evening, rises more at a minute past 7, UV index 7, your water temperature 75 degrees Fahrenheit, and the moon phase now moving towards the new moon. Extended look, mix of sun and cloud along that frontal boundary with a couple of showers that will continue into Wednesday and Thursday, but by the weekend, good looking weekend still weather-wise with lots of sunshine. Those times of daytime will be in the low 80s, at nighttime in the upper 60s. That's what you're up in your phone. Look at the weather at sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Phil.
Thank you very much, Godfrey. Of course, it's very hard to believe the phrase worldwide measles outbreak, but apparently it's happening, and we're very pleased to have back on Bahamas at Sunrise Dr. Carlos Thomas, pediatrician of Dr. Carlos Thomas and Pediatrics Associates. Doc, welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning.
Boy, you're looking
Lovely
sharp.
to be here. Thank you.
Sharp as a tack, man.
Thank you.
But on a very serious note, this, where we are in 2019, it's hard to believe.
I became a physician about 28 years ago, and I thought that in my lifetime I would not see measles. About 6 weeks ago, we saw the first case in the Bahamas, and we now have confirmed 2 cases. Fortunately, they were not endemic. These are 2 travelers into our country, which shows that we're just one plane ride away from a catastrophe.
That's right. That's right. And not just for measles. I mean, we're talking about diseases of any and every kind.
Yes.
But of course, let's talk about the role of immunization, you know, in all of this and protecting us, in eradicating these diseases.
Vaccines are vitally important to protect us from illnesses. We have seen a decline in the Bahamas in the vaccine rates over the years. In the 90s and early 2000s, we boast high 95, 90 to 98% compliance with vaccines. We have seen a fall off in the last several years. Some estimates to be in the 80s, 88%. That's very concerning because when vaccine rates decrease or decline, there's always an associated increase in diseases.
Right.
And so we expect to see more measles and mumps throughout the world in the weeks and months to come unless persons pay attention to the importance of vaccines.
So I mean, you talk about the compliance rate. I mean, what has been the rationale or the cause? Is it not mandatory? I mean, I know in certain schools, you know, you can't enter unless you have, you know.
It's mandatory, certainly in the public schools, and most private schools will insist on it. I do quite a few school physicals, and some of the school forms do not require or request vaccine records. But as a public health policy, it's recommended that all children in the Bahamas are vaccinated. And the public health department does a fantastic job to offer the vaccines free of charge. So we encourage parents to go in and have their kids vaccinated. With regards to measles, you need 2 vaccines to be fully protected. So after 1 vaccination, you're about 93% of persons are protected. After 2 doses, though, it rises to 98%, which is a lovely place to be.
Yeah, you talk about local vaccinations, but you know, we are in the tourism industry, and like you say, we are just a plane ride away from a catastrophe.
Yeah.
Should we be really considering, as we have to do when we travel to different countries, there's a policy in place for immunizations and vaccines. Should we adopt a similar approach here in the Bahamas?
That's my personal opinion. That's something for the Ministry of Health and Public Health to address. You asked a question earlier, what might be causing the decline in vaccines? One of the reasons is a concern about vaccine safety, particularly with regards to autism and other developmental disorders. And I'm here today to say on behalf of the Ministry of Health and all of us who work in pediatrics and medicine in general, that vaccines are safe and effective.
Right.
Just look at the track record of the decline in diseases over the years with the introduction of vaccines. Polio, for example, is almost fully eradicated from the world, except for Afghanistan and Pakistan, I believe.
Well, you know, then that brings another question in terms of the education of, you know, citizens relative to the importance of this. I know in the past you would see it all the time, no matter where you went within the public healthcare system. We don't have as much as that, but certainly, you know, persons like yourself taking the charge can help to change that in the future.
I agree with you. I think the Public Health Department will continue to do a fantastic job, which we're doing now, but we need to step up the game. Recently, the decision was made to change the vaccine schedule. So, for example, for measles, mumps, and rubella, in the past, you had your first vaccine at age 1 year, and the booster between ages 4 through 5 years. There's now a move to change the second dose to be closer, 15 months, to ensure that we have a good herd immunity in our country.
Has the technology changed, you know, when we talk about vaccines? I mean, certainly the diseases of today are not necessarily the diseases of tomorrow. Do you anticipate, besides the measles and the mumps, any different types of vaccinations or need for that in the future?
Well, over the years, vaccines have been improved, so there are less side effects, less fever, less irritation. And certainly there are vaccines that are being investigated right now for use in the future. So I suspect as time goes by, we'll have more vaccines, and we continue to encourage parents to go out and get vaccinated.
Yeah, I was about to just ask, I mean, what is your message to parents, to lawmakers, to schools, to adults? I mean, anybody who is wanting to be a parent or is a parent now?
We have to do what's in our child's best interest. Clothing them, educating them is very important, but also protecting their health. Going to have your child's regular visit to the doctor is very important, and vaccine plays a large part in that. It's very, very important that we get vaccinated. They're safe, they're effective. I can't say that often enough.
Right, right. Yeah. And beyond, you know, the vaccination, you know, is there a broader message relative to health? I mean, and diseases and protecting ourselves?
You only have one life to live. We only have one body. We have to care for it. It's very important that we do everything that we can to ensure that we remain healthy. And if you're healthy, then your household is healthy, then your community is healthy, then the nation is healthy.
When we talk about you know, the health of a nation, I mean, you've been in the business for a very long time. And I think this is a question we would have asked in the past, but you know, in terms of the evolution of healthcare over the last 20, 30 years, and the state of the health of Bahamians, have you seen an improvement or deterioration? And if you have, what would be, in your opinion, the causes?
I've seen both. I've seen both an improvement and a deterioration. What concerns us as healthcare providers is the increasing amounts of non-communicable diseases. In pediatrics, I see way more obese children than I saw 20 years ago, in large part because our lifestyle has changed. As children, we were outside playing, becoming more active. Children are tied to their tablets and so on. So there's less movement, more available fast foods. Parents are either too busy to provide proper meals. So it's a combination of things. So we're very concerned about the health of the nation.
Yeah, well, Dr. Thomas, listen, thank you so much for joining us once again, Bahamas at Sunrise. I'm going to have to get a number relative to this attire, man. Looking really good.
It's always a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We've been with Dr. Carlos Thomas, pediatrician, Dr. Carlos Thomas, and Pediatric Associates. We'll be right back.
Allied Supply has everything you need under one roof. Our bath and plumbing department has urinals, toilets, basins, pumps, heaters, tanks, and all the parts and accessories you need. Check out our electrical department for pipes, roughing parts, and so much more. Visit our lumber section for plywood, roofing materials, rock, sand, and cement. We also carry garden supplies, doors and locks, power tools, a variety of pipes, and so much more. Pipe cutting and threading services are available. Allied Supply, quality is our first consideration.
I'm Jennifer Basden, Group Sales and Marketing Manager for Bahamas Air, and it's my pleasure to invite you to experience Houston. From out-of-the-world excitement at Space Center's Houston, the gateway to NASA's Mission Control, to the over 10,000 restaurants representing cuisine from more than 70 countries. Houston has it all. Come, experience Houston with direct service on Bahamas Air.
For more information on flight and packages, visit bahamasair.com.
How are we making Rev work wonders for you? We are doing it together. You told us what you want, and we've heard you. Want faster broadband? How about speeds up to 1 gigabit per second? Want shorter house calls? 2 hours max. We promise. Want to take your entertainment anywhere? Well, your Rev Go Play app is here. Rev, we've heard you. You speak, we listen. Rev, you and us together.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. While the Bahamas is in the process of ascending to the World Trade Organization, the government sees joining the WTO as an important move towards modernizing the country's trade regime. We still have a lot to learn about this, so we took an in-depth look at it, and here it is now for you, more on the WTO.
Trade has been a feature of human interaction throughout history. The earliest form was barter, which was simply the direct exchange of goods and services among individuals and groups.
Trade today is mainly about currency transactions, buying and selling goods and services, business to customers, business to business, country to country. No individual or country has the skills and know-how to produce all goods and services that we need. So, we sell what we produce and buy from others what we don't or can't produce.
Trade can be domestic or international. We buy many products and services such as conch, fish, and insurance and construction services, which are produced, bought, and sold right at home. This is domestic trade. When we buy cars, cell phones, refrigerators from abroad, and seek medical care in another country, this is international or foreign trade.
Trade is of great importance to the Bahamas, as for all countries. Tourism and financial services, the pillars of the Bahamian economy, are forms of international trade.
One thing, two things, blue thing, old things, things that are small, things that are grand, things that fit just right, and in the palm of your hand. Fox Hill Nursery, a large selection of garden supplies. If you can see it in your mind, you can find it at Fox Hill Nursery.
Since 1967, Focal has been a vital part of the Grand Bahama community, providing high-quality products and great customer service. Today, we continue to work hard and remain focused on fueling growth for people throughout the Bahamas.
Trade has been a feature of human interaction throughout history. The earliest form was barter, which was simply the direct exchange of goods and services among individuals and groups.
Trade today is mainly about currency transactions, buying and selling goods and services, business to customers, business to business, country to country. No individual or country has the skills and know-how to produce all goods and services that we need. So, we sell what we produce and buy from others what we don't or can't produce.
Trade can be domestic or international. We buy many products and services such as conch, fish, and insurance and construction services, which are produced, bought, and sold right at home. This is domestic trade. When we buy cars, cell phones, refrigerators from abroad, and seek medical care in another country, this is international or foreign trade.
Trade is of great importance to the Bahamas, as for all countries. Tourism and financial services, the pillars of the Bahamian economy, are forms of international trade. Every Bahamian wants a higher quality of life. And for this, we need a prosperous, growing, stable economy. A robust, resilient trade is essential.
Trade that is restricted or completely open or free works against economic stability. To have well-regulated, fair foreign trade, it's essential to have an impartial, internationally enabled and respected promoter and monitor. Accession to WTO can make the Bahamas more attractive for domestic and international investors, boosting economic growth, business opportunities and profits, employment and general prosperity. It can lower prices and improve quality of goods for consumers. It can encourage innovation through competition and intellectual property rights protection. WTO accession will put the Bahamas into a huge pool of potential trade partners. Today, of the approximately $15 trillion of global trade, 98% is done by the 164 members of the WTO. Importantly, WTO aims to lower trade barriers by establishing rules among its members to avoid restrictions on export of goods, services, and capital, and also to avoid abuse of intellectual property rights. WTO facilitates trade negotiations between member countries to promote fair dealing. As in all international relationships, there are challenges. Joining WTO will mean lowering government revenue through cuts in customs duty. There is a potential increase in international competition to some local producers owing to those lower duties and costs to government to adjust to WTO rules. Negotiations, however, can minimize these challenges and provide ways to effectively address them through rules of the WTO.
Why seek WTO membership?
WTO membership affords multiple opportunities to modernize our economy and to do more business, generating jobs, income, and prosperity for a stronger Bahamas and a better quality of life for Bahamians. WTO accession, the next step in trade development for the Bahamas.
Thank you very much for joining us on this edition of Bahamas at Sunrise. We trust and pray that you have a wonderful week.
We certainly do, and we're going to be back here with more on Friday, so we'll see you then.
All right, bye.
Bye.